Yes, there really is one habit that can transform your relationships, and we're going to talk about it right now. If you're new here, my name is Jared, and I'm a high school teacher turned leadership coach. I did not learn this habit in school. I didn't learn it until I started watching things break down. But slowly, through mistakes, therapy, long talks, good books, and a lot of trial and error, I discovered one habit that changed everything. It was not about saying the right thing or solving every problem. It was learning how to actually listen, not to respond, not to fix, but to seek to understand. In today's video, we're going to answer 3 questions. So let's get started with question 1. How do most of us communicate? Let me start with something that changed my life when I first read it. And it's from the book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Dr. Stephen Covey. He says, most people do not listen with the intent to understand. They listen with the intent to reply. They're either speaking or preparing to speak. When I first read that, it hit me like a ton of bricks. I realized I wasn't really listening to my wife, my team, or even my kids. I was just waiting for my turn to talk. Here's what most of us do when someone is talking. We mentally prepare a response while they're still speaking. Or we interrupt with solutions before they finished explaining. Or we relate everything back to our own experiences. We get distracted by our phones or other thoughts. Or we also listen to the words but miss the emotions behind them. For me personally, what I did a lot of is I prepared my rebuttal while they were still talking. I related everything back to myself. I interrupted with quick solutions. I nodded while totally missing the emotion behind their words, or sometimes while I was thinking about something else. Most people get this wrong because we've never been taught otherwise. We were trained to debate, to solve, to lead, to fix, but never to understand. And understanding feels inefficient. It requires patience. It's uncomfortable. You have to hold your tongue. You have to let go of control. But that's exactly why it works. Because when you stop trying to win the moment and start listening to what's underneath, you build trust, safety, and clarity. In other words, you transform the conversation and over time, the relationship. It's not about saying more, it's about hearing better. Before we jump into how to listen, we need to answer the second question. Why does listening work? There's a reason this one habit transforms relationships, because it meets a fundamental human need. So back to the 7 habits of highly effective people, Dr. Covey says, next to physical survival, the greatest need of a human being is psychological survival. To be understood, to be affirmed, to be validated, to be appreciated. When people feel truly heard, they let down their guard. They trust you. They share more honestly. They come to their own insights. Again, back to the 7 habits. Dr. Covey says, often when people are really given the chance to open up, they unravel their own problems and the solutions become clear to them in the process. That's what empathetic listening does. It creates space for clarity, connection, and healing. Dr. Covey says again, empathetic listening is in and of itself a tremendous deposit in the emotional bank account. It's deeply therapeutic and healing because it gives a person psychological air. And the air that we have and that we need at times is not only literal, but emotional. And that's what listening does. Empathetic listening disarms defensiveness. When people feel understood, they stop fighting to be heard. Their walls come down. You move from power struggles to genuine collaboration. It also turns transactional moments into transformational ones. Whether you're managing a team, parenting a child, or navigating a relationship, you're not just exchanging words, you're uncovering values, fears, and hopes. That's where real alignment and trust are born. When someone listens to us deeply, it builds trust and safety. It signals that we matter. It even transforms how we think, because when you're truly listening, you stop reacting from assumptions. You create the space to discover what's actually true. And this is the good news. This scales. You can practice this in one-on-one conversations and in a team culture. Whether it's family or leadership, listening first creates psychological safety, clarity, and long-term trust. And best of all, it's learnable. This isn't about personality or some innate quality you were born with. This is about practice. Simple habits like pausing, reflecting, staying curious, and tuning into nonverbal cues may seem small, but over time, they rewire your brain and patterns in your brain that rebuilds connection with others from the inside out. Now that we understand why listening works, let's look at our third question. How do we put this into practice? Number one, pause before you respond. Take a breath. Stay in their world for a moment longer. Number two, ask curious questions. Stay curious longer than feels comfortable. Number three, drop your agenda. Your job isn't to fix, correct, or convince. It's to seek to understand. Number four, set aside your autobiography. This means resisting the urge to relate everything back to your own story or immediately jump to your own conclusions. And number five, be patient. Real listening takes time. The time you invest in truly listening saves you countless hours of conflict resolution later on. Go practice. Remember, you're not going to get it right the first time. Make sure to avoid tense conversations early on and choose safe people and tell them that you're trying this. So let me ask you this. Who in your life needs to feel heard? If you practice just this one habit every day, what could happen? Because if you want to lead well and love well, it starts right here. Honestly, I recommend you stop watching videos and go practice this. But if you're gonna stay on YouTube and you have any influence over others, which all of us do, I recommend you check out this video right over here where I talk about why leaders need to stop leading with their voice and start leading with their ears. Go practice, and I'll see you guys over there in that video.